It is time up completely for Casemiro. Let's stop pretending. Let's stop acting like we don't see it. Guys, this loss for Man United against Liverpool has proved to us that indeed Casemiro has got to move on, whether he likes it or not. Welcome to the United World Sport. My name is Webb. This is the match reaction to the loss in our last preseason game against Liverpool in the US. A record attendance for the stadium, but it's not a record performance for Manchester United. Probably it was a record poor performance by an individual who was wearing the captain's armband in Casemiro. Guys, listen, and I had to come here and start by talking about the bad stuff even before greeting you. Well, I know it's a Sunday and you must be feeling all right, but I am not all right because I cannot stay up late, so late in the night to watch a Man United Liverpool game and we are whitewashed like that ahead of the start of the season. It's a bit discouraging and demoralizing and worrying a bit in every way you think about it. And of course, there are positives in that game. Don't get it twisted. The positives were there, and I'm going to talk about them. But I will start off with the elephant in the room. In fact, that game, that performance from Casemiro got me thinking probably he should be leaving even before Scott McTominay. I don't know. There's this fascination about Man United letting go of McTominay, which is okay because McTominay has never been really convincingly so talented a player to be a Man United player. But Casemiro, top earner, his attitude, wanting to start all games. If he stays, we start the season with him. Somehow Eric Ten Hag is going to be forced to play him, to field him, because he's a big personality, he's a big time player. It's not easy for Casemiro to be fit, physically fit, and you're not keeping him, you're not playing him. So Eric Ten Hag is going to be forced into playing a player who is completely off. Casemiro's levels are not even for the fourth league in Europe. Casemiro's level is for the Saudi Pro League or some leagues in Africa. He is so off. You look at the goal, the goal he cost us. I think it was the first. It should have been the first Liverpool goal. The way he was beaten off and he went, kneeling and he just couldn't get up. He's just so unfit. He's completely unfit and it looks so ugly on him. And I don't know why players don't see it. If you performed so well at a club, because I do remember in the first season that Casemiro joined Man United, many people were arguing and saying he's probably Man United's best signing post Sir Alex Ferguson. In that first season, when United finished third, the first season of Eric Ten Hag, Casemiro just convinced everyone that he was probably Manchester United's best signing post Sir Alex Ferguson. But look how he's destroying everything he convinced us he brought just by staying so long. Sometimes you just have got to know when to move. You overstay your good, things will end so bad. And a player who should have been a short time legend at Man United is living as a villain, a proper villain, a complete villain. Everyone is complaining about him and it's ugly. We cannot pretend about it anymore. Man United should be looking to vend Casemiro. If you've got to terminate his contract at whichever cost, terminate it. But we cannot start the season with Casemiro among the number six we are looking at. We need to be expediting. That is an important position. The way Liverpool, I was here before the game talking about how this is a proper test for Man United. How are we going to match their directness and their pace? I'll tell you, Arne Slot, who was not even so impressed by his team, is probably going to show us that Liverpool can play a more intense and direct game than even Jurgen Klopp did. So it was the perfect test for us to be exposed. So Casemiro cannot match this pace. Players are way too quick for his liking. He can't. That's the reality. Out of 10, I would give him a 3 out of 10. He was that bad for me. In my view, that's how poor he was. And consistently so. Never mind him scoring the previous game. But he has consistently been one of our poorest performers, even from before the end of last season. We cannot just pretend about it anymore. I've said it, heard it all of it. That's the fact. But there were positives to look at in this game. First of all, the fact that Marcus Rashford was there, he was fit, and he was probably Man United's best player in the game. Him, a bit of Jadon Sancho, and of course Amad Diallo were probably Man United's best players on the night. I love the fact that again Amad Diallo is consistently showing that he's good. He's showing his levels consistently, which is important because I mean, if you're going to be rated as a highly important player, you've got to be consistent. Don't come have one good game and go and fall off. So you love to see it. Marcus Rashford looked good and decent. Jadon Sancho looked okay. You clearly can see that he's beginning now to feel comfortable and enjoy his football. We all know what he can do when he's good. You get that feeling that he's beginning to settle in and feel at home playing in a Man United jersey. And this happening towards the start of the season is probably is definitely good. So Eric Ten Hag again, and again the other positive is of course the fact that United created a couple of chances in this game, because it's not every day that United creates chances. It's not really something. Before we used to struggle to create chances rather when Bruno Fernandes wasn't there. So you probably feel that this time around we tried because we had 18 shots. Man United had 18 shots. 8 of those were on target, were just not effective. Liverpool had less, 3 less, 5, but they were effective. So that's an improvement. So you feel like probably if we had our strikers, our Hoyland, our Joshua Zirkzee, our lethal finishers, probably we would have buried or converted a few chances. So that's a big positive because if before you score goals, you need to create the goal scoring chances or opportunities for the team, which we have improved on. So I thought in terms of pass accuracy, we are playing more accurate passes, 83% for United, 85% for Liverpool, a difference of 2%. When it came to total passes, we had 455, they had 527. Definitely, they had to be a little ahead of us. Then we had five corners, they had two. Meaning we're a bit, we were proactive. I mean, I think we try to take the lead. We are not cold, which you would love to see. There is quite a number of positives in the game, but I mean, the most important stat in a football match is the result. Fabio Cannavaro, Curtis Jones, and Konstantinos Tsimakas were the guys who served us the 3-0 thumping, which by result is bad. But if you watch the game, there were so many positives for Man United. I get a feeling that if Hoyland was in that game, for example, it would have been different. The result wouldn't have been that bad. Now, the other elephant that we've got to deal with, of course, I can individualize it by saying Casemiro, but the way we concede goals again, the way we give away goals, we concede goals, and Eric Ten Hag spoke about this after the game. We concede goals, cheap goals, and we cannot afford to concede cheap goals. In the Premier League, you've got to be so meticulous with everything you do. At this level, you've got to be so meticulous with everything you do. You will be punished. You will be punished if you don't. You will be punished if you lax in any way, if you sleep in any way, if you doze on it at any one point. Your concentration levels have got to be extremely high. I thought we considered some silly goals because of that lack of concentration. Of course, partly because of Casemiro, who was not up to the up to the task, but the whole team, when we don't have the ball, our concentration levels were not up there, which you think is something we've got to work on. But again, this is not our as starting 11 for the season. I mean, we've got probably 3 or 4 players who started that game who will never step foot on the pitch when the season starts. I'm talking players like Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who is on his way out, Victor Lindelof, who is probably also on his way out. We had Johnny Evans, of course, in central defense with Lindelof. That's a recipe for disaster. More so, if you're playing against a Liverpool that has Mohamed Salah, Diogo Jota, and Fabio Carvalho coming at you, so certainly it's always going to be difficult. Harry Amas was decent on the left. Then Casemiro in the middle with Toby Collier. You don't expect to see that midfield partnership. I hope we don't. Toby Collier, decent player, but still, of course, a work in progress. Mason Mount, again playing 10, but yes, does need a lot of work. I mean, he covers a lot of ground as a 10. He loves to roam around, but to what effect? That's the question. Rashford looking sharp and impressive every day, looking better and consistently looking so. We know what he can do when he's sharp. You'd love to see the job Ruud van Nistelrooy has done on him. Amad Diallo being Amad Diallo, doing Diallo things. Certainly, he has got that right wing for himself now. Jadon Sancho starting up top as a false nine, where he looked a bit decent. So there were positives to take from the game, but the negatives have got to be sorted. I do hope Eric Ten Hag can find ways of adjusting from his single pivot to try and reduce the gaps we create in the middle. They are not as glaring as were before, But maybe in the Community Shield, we shall get a proper idea of what shape he wants to rock going forward as we head into the new season. My name is Webb. This is the United of Sport. On a scale of 1 to 10, our performance was below average. I would give it a not below average, by the way. We didn't score 5. I'll give it average, 5 out of 10. We created chances, more chances than Liverpool. We are just not effective.